What is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for the OPTC video, and in today's video is day 2 of the grandest party of them all, Season 16. And in today's video, we're going to be trying out the new Sugo exclusive Lillith in the Grand Party game mode. Now, this season, Cerebral in-characters are getting a pretty nice buff. However, both the teams aren't exactly where they need to be in terms of the meta. Slashes, Free Spirit, Strength, Psi teams, they're kind of ruling the roost right now, but it is still very early. I do want to test out how these Cerebral teams look against Free Spirit. And with Psi coming back into the meta, let's see how we can go using an in team that can counteract that. But if you enjoyed the video, bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. At the end of every day, when you finish your matches, make sure you change your leader to a PvP rare recruit or some sort of leader that's not Gear 5. Help the homies out, get the 15 wins. But with that said, let's have a look at Lillith in some Grand Party. Alright, so I wanted to find something with a little bit of juice, so I did find a regular Gear 5 that is running a Psi team up the front, a Free Spirit team in the middle, and then a Int team, I believe, in the back. Now, the idea of the first team that you guys see here, I have been having massive issues with my screen, mirroring, so I do apologize about all this lagginess. In the next couple of days, I'm going to be pretty busy, so I might just sort of upload the footage raw, or I might just have to sort of upload it to my drive and then just do what I did yesterday. But ideally, I would like to do it live for you guys. But look, it might not happen over the next sort of couple of games or the next couple of days. But as I was saying, my Lillith build is built up around utilizing an int team that is tailor-made to actually take down the Psi variation. Now, for some reason my screen capture has gone all weird as well. But that's okay, I'll fix it for the next fight. Actually, you know what? We can fix it right now. That should be a bit wider. Let's just... Apologies about this on the fly. I didn't realize that this was so scuffed. Beautiful. But the idea of my my int sort of cerebrally build is it's using Conus as a shooter as well, which is also getting buffed under Lillith as she buffs Cerebral's int shooters. But like I said, the idea here is to sort of try and take down the Psi build. So if we can get like a special bind off here, that'd be great. Beautiful. We get the special bind and the action bind. Again, I do apologize about the wonkiness and the glitchiness of the screen mirroring. It just, for some reason, just it isn't really working. I'm gonna have to like restart my computer. But the upside to using this team now is we have Shanks. Shanks is a Cerebral in character that nerfs the crap out of Psi. So that's always a lot of fun. And he's just getting extra buffs. Conus special binding Yamato is like key for this team to function as well. If that doesn't happen and Yamato goes, you're in for a really bad time. Odin going anyway is in for a really bad time. But man, really 4 action binds? Oh no. You know what? I don't even know what this does. Lowering attack, giving us speed. Okay, that's pretty good. Getting the CD is nice, but we're probably going to lose 2 units here. Losing Conus is fine. That's okay. Losing Lillith, though, not so much. Not a fan of losing Lillith, to be honest. Man, if we can get it... Oh. My heart. Gear 5, why? Why throw that out? Alright, Shanks, with half stats, should still clean house here. Come on, Shanks. Okay, killed Odin. I'll take it. Man, this, the lagginess is very bad. I do apologize for that, but, look, unfortunately, this is the best I've got right now. So, otherwise, like I said, over the next couple of days, I'm gonna have to sort of, like, record them and then upload them to my drive, because, yeah, this just seems to be, way too much for the computer to handle right now. Alright, see how we go. Gear 5, don't be a dick. We should actually get the chocolates here. We should actually win this fight, which is kind of fun. Alright, let's skip the rest of this because we've definitely got... Okay, well, we don't need to because we already won. We already won! Cool! Awesome. Let's move on to the next fight. And this time we're using a Cerebral build that is built to take down Free Spirit. So the fact that Free Spirit is in the front, well, is in the lineup, is actually really, really nice. So let's see how we go here. Now, it is a Nami Karina versus Nami Karina, so that's never a fun time. But with the nerfing capabilities of Robin Koala and Black Marine ulti, I've got a little bit of faith here. Man, honestly, I'm probably going to have to just screen record the next ones and then just upload them because, like, this is just too hard to watch. I can't even commentate on it because it's going way too laggy. So, I think I'm going to have to screen record the next ones and upload them and go from there. But look, it is what it is. Until I sort of figure out what the hell's going on with my PC. It honestly just might need like a good old reboot. Of course, your Nami Karina goes before mine. Their Nami Karina going before my Nami Karina is kind of annoying. When do I want to use my burst? I don't really know how the burst works of Lillith. She just gives all enemies tack down and then buffs cerebral classes. So I mean, I guess I should use it for this team because the next team doesn't really have any. Oh, it's a full shooter team actually, so it could. See how we go. Okay, Shanks takes all that very, very nicely. Get some nice HP cuts off here. Get some nice defensive buffs. This is going to hurt, though. Okay, we survived, though, which is nice. Crocus is just never going to go. I've come to the conclusion that Crocus is just never going to use his special. I feel like we're going to take a Gear 5 burst here, and it's going to cost us the fight. I feel like that's how it's going to go. Unless our Nami Karina can do something and... Here's Crocus, the man of the moment. Okay, Nami Karina's going to roll back our specials. Okay, there's the burst that I spoke about. It's probably going to win them the fight. It is going to win them the fight. 100% I just won them the fight. But it is what it is. Alright, let's move on to the final fight where I'm using a shooter team. And shooters have got a very, very nice buff this particular... Not this season, but like this sort of era that we've moved into with stuff like Fujikizaru, with stuff like Uta. But there is an int team that we're going up against, and they are using stuff like Apu and Konus and all that fun stuff. So my Cyan characters might struggle just a little bit. But the idea is to use my special to get our cooldowns higher so Fujikizaru can go. That's why I didn't use it in the last fight, but we'll see how that actually pans out. Oh my days. I have to like watch my phone. I'm sorry. I apologize for the wonkiness of this first fight. It seemed to be working fine when I did a test run in a regular fight, regular PvP match. But this has just become too much. Alright, so we use the burst. That's going to lower all their stuff, give us cooldown reduction, and then ideally Raizo Shinobu should go. Yeah, beautiful. Nice action binding situation. 50 seconds of damage over time is really, really nasty. Something that they don't want to have to deal with, but Apu should absolutely clap my two side units here. Okay, they survived, which is good. Kizaru, Fuji are the big ones though. They do so much damage. 30% HP cut, monster damage after that. You love to see it. Get that cooldowns from Usopp. Utsu's going to give us more cooldowns. Raizu Shinobu aren't going to be ready, which kind of sucks. Your rogue's going to hit our side characters really hard, which kind of annoying. Yeah, losing Ace there is a lot of damage we lose, but that's okay. Man, I can't even see what's going on. This is so scuffed. I'm so sorry. Ridiculously scuffed. Tried the special bind. The action might hit Uta. That's okay. Raizu Shinobu should go. Oh, this is going to hurt. Okay, Uta's dead. Our Fujikizaru got action by special binder, which is not ideal. But that is what you like to see from Raizo Shinobu. Massive stuff. Be interesting to see if we can clutch out the win just because of that. But Smoker getting a special there could win him the fight. Because if he special binds our Fujikizaru even more. Oh, yep, keep knocking back, keep knocking back. Maha as well on a team, a PK unit, is so funny to me. Don't special bind them. Okay, hitting Usopp's fine. I don't really care about Usopp this late in the game. But I do care about Fujikizaru, who are my big damage dealers that do this. Nice, beautiful stuff. So, shooter teams getting it done in the first fight. You love to see that. But let's see how they go for the rest of it when I do some screen recording. So if you managed to sit through this, I appreciate the hell out of you. The next fights they'll look a lot nicer than this. Alright, so here we go, fight number 2. Obviously, these are pre-recorded fights. I did them yesterday. I've had a huge problem with my PC and time constraints and hard drives being full and HDDs at 100% processing, but I think I've got on top of it. We're here, so that's always fun. But we are using Lillith once again in Grand Party. And honestly, I had a lot of fun with Lillith. She's not exactly the greatest leader. Obviously, she's nowhere near what Roden's doing, what Gear 5, 6 Plus is doing, and probably not even what Gear 5 is doing. But using stuff like shooter teams, cerebral teams, int teams, and the variation of like different options for this season does seem a lot of fun. Now, don't get me wrong, Slash is still crazy, Psy is still crazy, Strength is still nuts, Quick Slashes, they're all still ruling the roost. But the fact that Psy is running around, it is really nice to run like an anti-Psy team. Plus, Conus is a shooter, so she does get buffed under Lillith. Shanks is a cerebral character, so he gets buffed under the Lillith. And then you can actually use like Uta and Chopper and Lillith herself as you have a core sort of cerebrally based team. I think I'm going to take Uta, the new Psy Uta, into Grand Party tomorrow, well, today, because I'm recording this literally right before I do my next one, because I'm having a lot of fun with, like, the shooter team and then, like, the anti-Psy meta, too, plus Psy being back, I do really want to, like, give them some love as well, and what they're doing. But this int team, it does work very, very nicely, especially against Psy, obviously, and that's sort of what I've gone up against, I've looked for. The opposition that I'm versing isn't super crazy. It's not like the testing stuff that I was doing on day 1. Both of those videos are out if you guys want to go check them out, where it's just literally Gear 5 versus Gear 5, or Roden versus Gear 5, and just utilizing the power of the bursts and those max stacked teams, rather than sort of seeing what these other characters can actually do. But Grand Party, on the first couple of days, for me, personally, is a lot of fun, because you have a lot of opportunity to test characters. You don't have to go in with Gear 5 teams all the time. If you guys aren't a big fan of the game mode, you want to get in, you want to get out, then sure, go for gold. But for myself, having the most fun with this game mode just comes from these first couple days where I can actually do a lot of stuff with a bunch of different characters. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. If you are, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for these big 8 versus 8 fights, rather than some of those other strats that people use. But as always, make sure at the end of every day to switch your leader to something like Conus or Atama or a PvP rare recruit that kind of tells the opposition where you are fighting and what's going on, as well as not having Gear 5 as your leader. But this fight's going way too long. It should have been wrapped up by now. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I believe this fight actually goes to... Does it? No, okay, no, it doesn't. There are a couple of fights, I think the last fight, where I actually get timed out, but we still win on the timeout. And it's a big upside to Grand Party. If you have more units than the opposition, you are going to actually get the win because of that timeout rule, which is actually really, really cool. So we get the first win fairly easily, and the second fight just showcases how powerful Gear 5's burst is. Now, I was using a cerebral team, and I was sort of searching for like a bunch of free spirit builds, so that way I could actually showcase the power of what's going on. And this particular team honestly looks wonky as hell. Like, it's all over the place. They've got Kid and Kaido, and I honestly think that they still win purely because of Gear 5's burst. Lillith's burst is very interesting. You need to take 55,000 damage, and with Gear 5, you just need to deal 55,000 damage. So their bursts kind of align, and if the opposition has their burst, you have your burst. You can use your burst, use the Gear 5 to get your second burst ready, but Lillith's burst is kind of whatever. It's nothing too crazy, in the sense that it gives you 20% cooldown reduction, it debuffs the enemy, and then it also buffs your cerebral or your shooter characters. Now, this is okay. It's nothing too insane, but when you come up against something like a Gear 5 burst that literally just kills your entire team, doesn't matter how much nerfing and buffing and all that fun stuff that you have. I actually managed to beat the AI here, which is nuts. So we do that massive attack down, the damage over time, we get the massive buffs to our team, and then Gear 5 just does this, and none of those buffs matter. Like, when Gear 5 literally kills the entire team, no other burst comes close to that. Like, what makes Roden so good is Roden guarantees 3 deaths. Gear 5 doesn't always guarantee that, But most of the time he actually does. And if it's later in the fight after a HP cut or something like that, then it's just curtains. The upside to Lillith, though, is if you plan it and use your burst right before the enemy does, you can turn all that damage into your second burst. So you can do some fun stuff, maybe cheekily grab win 1, and then use the Gear 5 to buff your second one. I thought I might come in clutch with Dofu here, but then he just gets knocked out right here, unfortunately, from a full attack. If he went, he might have had a chance, but at the end of the day, Cerebral Men, they do seem good against Free Spirit, but if you combat Free Spirit with a burst, I'm sorry, unfortunately, they just have nothing. Like, they just haven't worked for me. But what has been working for me is the shooter team. Shooters have been a lot of fun, and I've been really, really enjoying them, especially with the Psy team or the Psy units not getting nerfed this season. Raizo and Shinobu is a massive addition to the shooter team, which is really, really good. And then using PvP Usopp, who's actually getting double buffed under the rule system, and Lillith, which is really, really cool. Lillith buffs int cerebral shooters. So the shooter team's getting a full buff, but Usopp is just getting an absolute monster buff here. He's great because he can give us cooldowns as well. I actually used the burst here, which I probably shouldn't have, because it gives the 20% cooldowns. However, I wanted to do this so that way I get the massive level 7 attack buff to our Fujikizaru. Fujikizaru hits so damn hard. So does Ace, to be honest. Ace hits really, really hard too. Shinobu, Raizu give the cooldown buff, but they also do 2,000 fixed damage, which is great. But the upside to them is the action binding. I didn't check who got action binded there, but if you can action bind the entire team, it basically just spells an end for their run. Plus, if you have a look at Uta now, Uta's just got so much cooldowns from Raizo Shinobu, the burst, Usopp, that now she's almost ready to go once again, and then she's going to give us more cooldowns, which is really, really good. The shooter team, it moves really, really well in Grand Party. Honestly, I've had a lot of fun with it. And like I said, I think I'm going to take Uta today into Grand Party. I'm going to probably use this team once again. We'll probably use that same cerebrally int kind of build, and then we'll mix out with the side team and see how we go from there. But it's been a lot of fun using shooters, and Raizo Shinobu, man, even them getting nerfed with the strength debuff, they do absolute wonders with that 2k fixed damage, with action binds, and Lillith, she can rock, she can roll. However, she's just not where Roger and Odin and Gear 5 is, and that just comes back to her burst. The character is built around the burst when it comes to Grand Party. It's not so much the teams and the passives and all that fun stuff. It's really got to do with how good that burst is for taking down oppositions, and no one does it better than Gear 5. Rodin's quite close, but Lillith, she has been a lot of fun. Let's move to the final fight and wrap up the video, and see how she goes there. Good old Cerebral. Good old shooter. You love to see the win. Like I said, not exactly the be-all end-all teams. Alright, so finally we're wrapping it up against another Gear 5 6+ build. Obviously, if you're doing fights, like, if you can avoid 6+ Gear 5, avoid 6+ Gear 5. But we're here for the content, baby! I want to make it a little bit more interesting for you guys. So, to do that, I do want to go up against Gear 5 builds. Now, I did find this Gear 5 6+. I did have to refresh a couple times to find it, but it didn't seem like the craziest side team. Katakuri there, buffing fighters isn't, like, super scary. Kinemon Dendro on the bench isn't too wild, but honestly, this team actually takes me down to the wire, and this is what side teams can do, and it's why you have to be very careful of them, especially on a Gear 5 6+, moving into this season, because they're not getting nerfed. In the last couple seasons, they've been nerfed to the shitter, and no one's been using them, and so people kind of forgot, like, how good side teams can be. For myself, I'm still a side team skeptic. I'm not fully sold on side teams because they always tend to work really well against me, but when I use them, they just don't pop off. However, if you have stuff like Shanks and Law and going up against like quick powerhouse driven or in powerhouse driven, like you can do some really crazy stuff. But the fact that people are using them means that Lillith can shine a little bit more, because that means I can use an anti-side team, being my boy 6+ Shanks, Conus, all that fun stuff. And obviously I need to use Lillith somewhere, and this just seemed to be the best fit for her, being a Cerebral team. Lillith in regular PvP will buff Cerebral characters CT level 2, but then she just straight buffs in. Now this doesn't mean you have to build out a Cerebral based team. You can sort of just chuck her in on a int based team and just have her buff like other int characters that might pop up like Shanks. However, I do think she's probably going to see the best performance when you are building it out in Cerebral. Now in Cerebral they do have a lot of options. Is a int Cerebral. Shanks obviously in Cerebral, then you Chopper and you Uta. You have a lot of dual units that fit the build, but unfortunately in PvP they come as a classless or typeless, sorry. So like Black Maria ulti, Robin Koala, all those very, very good units are technically classless. But the fact that Lillith still buffs Cerebral means that you can still use them here and there. Overall, PvP-wise, she's not exactly the greatest unit in the world. She's sort of built for regular play. What she does in regular play is absolutely crazy with her double stacking attack boosts. But in PvP, look, she can still do some stuff. And if Int do get a little bit more buffs, they are getting buffs with like slashes, like Int slashes with like Cat Viper. The new Brook that's coming out does seem very interesting for Int slashes. And then you got stuff like Shiki as well. Getting a burst here too, by the way. We have a lot of HP, so we can tank this really nicely. And then Chopper's great at healing us back. So it's another thing I forgot to mention. Chopper just being a fantastic healing unit. I think we take 2 Colgara Nolan shots as well, because like that motherfucker just charges so damn fast. And we still manage to survive. Get our Chopper just ready to go for him to die. However, Shanks ends up clutching it for us. Shanks against Sai is actually so disgustingly strong. Shanks has the ability to just decimate their HP pool with 2 monstrous attacks, provided you're attacking Sai. So Chopper's ready to go here. Shanks hits very, very hard, which is great. Wipes out a bunch of units, I believe. Katakuri. So not a whole bunch of units, just Katakuri. But Shanks is great. He's a very, very good unit for your anti-Sai teams. Luffy's the one that kills Chopper. Uta's the one that wipes the team, that's right. But Uta's just a fantastic unit as well, touching on Uta. Another really, really good addition to this team in damage output. She just survived too. So ideally, if I didn't have the investments that I have on this team, I probably would have lost. But again, that's just like a prowess to how powerful the Sai team actually is. So I'm coming in, trying to half stats Gear 5, which obviously doesn't work. And this is the fight that actually gets timed out, right? So we ended up winning just on having more units in the opposition, which is a great feature in Grand Party. I really wish they did it in PvP, but I understand why they don't, because it would affect like majority of defensive teams. But in Grand Party, it does give you the win. So like that, it's really, really nice. Now I did use Shooter's second here, thinking that I would very easily get a win against this particular build. However, Gear 5's burst, man. It's just too good. It's just too good. Lucky for us, he used one in the previous fight. So we don't actually take it off the bat. And I had a feeling that I might get very lucky here by using the Lillith burst early. And then getting the CD charge and then allowing Fuji Kizaru to go. However, Kaido has an ability to knock back. And he knocked my Uta back, which unfortunately meant that I didn't get enough charge for Fuji Kizaru. And then Fuji Kizaru got knocked back as well. So with that, it kind of hits really, really hard. And then the Gear 5 burst just... You can't stop it. Like, you can't do anything when it literally wipes your entire team out. So we skipped the rest of this fight. This was obviously a whitewash. However, the opposition doesn't have a burst now. And because they use their burst, it just basically fully charged our next burst. So whilst we kind of wasted a burst there, it did get us back that particular burst that we can use on the next fight, which is the Cerebral team. Now, Cerebrals... Again, this team is sort of built up at taking down Free Spirit, and I couldn't really find any like Free Spirity stuff. But I did find this Dex team, which has Yamato and Luffy on it. Robin Koala on the bench as well, so that was the plan here. Using stuff like Robin Koala and Black Maria and Ulti to take this down. And this fight, again, goes to the time limit. So if you guys have made it this far in the video, I do appreciate the hell out of you. Belt the like button, belt the subscribe button, and in the comment section below, let me know what you guys think of Lillith as a PvP unit or a Grand Party leader. Do you give her a yay or do you give her a nay? Honestly, for me, I give her a nay. Like, she's just not there. And even this season, with all of the buffs she's getting and all of the extras, she still seems to be just missing the mark of what they're trying to do. And that comes down to her not being the greatest PvP character, nor does she have the greatest burst. Again, I keep rambling on and on about it, but a burst does make the character in Grand Party. If you have a good burst, like Gear 5, like Rodin, like all that fun stuff, you are going to be very, very successful. But the fact that her burst, whilst it's great with the cooldown reduction, whilst it's great with the extra stats and the nerfing, the damage over time is quite nice too, it's just not killing units. It's not breaking down teams like Rodin and what Gear 5 is doing. But let me know down below, like I said, what you guys think of this particular unit. Now, this Cerebral team, if you guys have any suggestions for Cerebral, it is an area where I know can be good, especially against Free Spirit. But for myself, I just don't really know how to build it out. There's a lot of options for Cerebral, but I don't know exactly the best comp for it. I know Robin Koala needs to be there. I know Nami Karina needs to be there. I tried stuff with like Crocus. Inuyasuma is a really good option, I know too. You can do stuff with like Law. I wanted to include Shanks' crew. Obviously, you can just bring Int Uta across, or you could bring like Quick Uta across. That's another option as well. The 20 cost Uta is great too if you're using Super Tandem Shanks. But for myself, I just don't know exactly what that build looks like. Dofi's great off the bench. He's a Cerebral character. He does nerf Free Spirit too, so that's why I've kind of included him here. Plus, he's just more damage output. And the idea I wanted to go over this team is just to use Nami Karina to slow the team down so drastically by continuously rolling back their specials. Crocus giving myself cooldown, because as you can see, we're at level 10 cooldowns now, which is awesome. And then getting like defense up with Shanks, HP cuts up with Shanks, and just chipping away with Robin Koala and Black Marine ulti. So that's my idea with Cerebrals. I'm not exactly the best Cerebral PvP team builder, but if you guys do have any ideas or suggestions, let me know down below, because like I said, I know they have a lot of options, and I know they can do something, I just don't know what that something is. Even here, Black Marine ulti, like all the stat reductions, all that, like, they hit hard, but this is at the back end of like 10 seconds left, so I don't know. It might just be me, but they just seem like a little lackluster from what I've heard. But at the end of the day, that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Don't forget, at the end of every day, swap your leader. No Gear 5 leaders. I don't want to see any more Gear 5s after day 3.